happy? Do I'm happy at this time and moment, like Chelsea fans across the globe? I know they're still happy and basking in the euphoria of their Champions League. Well, and I know I have them around me, well, both in the studio and outside the studio. But we're happy to be parts of Capital Sports today as we welcome you to Capital Sports from the Unity Station, NT Channel 5, Abuja. The platform remains the same. Aspects of the discussion, highlights, and also previews of some of the happenings around the sporting world. And today is not going to be different because we have somebody special to talk to. I remain Abdullahi Ajia, welcoming you to Capital Sports, that program that remains unbeatable and can always get better with you. Well, stay back. We'll be back shortly after this time out. With all assurances, I believe you're part of Capital Sports at this moment, and trust me, I will not leave anything undone as far as the latest updates are concerned. And I know in the last 7 days we've seen series and couple of sporting activities, particularly the two-legged international friendly between Nigeria and arch rivals, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. And we saw how it all played out, and I know the arguments in the public domain there has always been whether matches have come and gone, and pundits are still talking about the outcome. Well, today we'll be looking at also the Nigerian Professional Football League, what happened yesterday in the week 26. We saw teams are continuing to do what they know how to do best. Kano Pillars, well, yesterday they lost, but they are still somehow sitting on the table pending the outcome of what Aqua United will be playing today. And, well, if they get a win, Kano Pillars will have to excuse them at the top of the table. But for now, if our sports tidbit is ready, I will not let you know my guest for now. When we return, together we'll unwrap him before we all go to the issue proper and what he'll be telling us as far as sports and handball, sports developments, especially the grassroots, is concerned. Well, let's go take the tidbits as usual. I know you'll not want to miss it.
Hello again, it's good to be back to take you on a quick ride round the world of sports into 140 seconds. Team Yamatu and friend are through a football pitch with trophies and medals presented to the winning teams.
The novelty match that you have just watched is just to kickstart the activities that will culminate into.
All teams were on Wednesday drawn in Group A with Senegal, Morocco and Djibouti in the first round of next month's Africa Mini Football Nations Cup. The draws, which took place in Ibadan, also pitted Burkina Faso with Benin Republic, South Africa and Tunisia in Group B, while the defending champions, Cote d'Ivoire, will lock horns with Egypt, Syria are in Group D. The tournament runs from 8th to 17th July 2021. Sunshine Stars recorded a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Dakada on Wednesday in a match day 26 encounter of the Nigeria Professional Football League to put an end to their 18-game winless run. Rivers United handed Kano Pillars a 2-0 defeat. Eyimba returned to winning ways with a 2-1 win over Adamawa United. Nasarawa United were 3-1 winners against Wolves, while MFM and Abia Warriors played out a goalless draw earlier on Thursday. Nigerian-born former England junior Premier League clubs interested in signing him. According to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, there is a buyout clause. Which City, West Ham United, Newcastle United and Aston Villa are reported to be interested in his services. The 23-year-old linked up with Fulham from Premier League champions Manchester City on a permanent deal last summer. The 6 English clubs who secretly agreed to play in the European Super League will pay a combined fine of £22 million to draw a line under their ensuing row with the Premier League. The figures in Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United and Tottenham have also agreed to an additional £25 million fine and a potential 30-point deduction for any similar transgression in the future. Opener Fernandes threaded a pass to Ronaldo to double the advantage before halftime. Joao Cancelo added a late third before Fernandes completed the victory. Portugal start their Euro 2020 campaign against Hungary on Tuesday. Finally, Novak Djokovic teed up a French Open semi-final with Rafael Nadal by beating Italy's Matteo Berrettini in a match which was stopped to ensure France could leave before an 11 p.m. curfew in Paris. Djokovic claimed a 6-3, 6-2, 6-7, 7-5 win. In the women's draw, Greece's Maria Sakkari beat defending champion Iga Swiatek to reach her maiden Grand Slam semi-final at the French Open at Roland Garros. She will face Czech Barbora Krejcikova, who won a nervy encounter with American teenager Coco Gauff 7-6, 6-3. And that'll be all on sports tidbits for this week. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
What a beautiful tonic there, Bade Adele. We thank you for to be able to know what is happening and when and how they're happening. I saw a couple of stories on transfer. We also saw our own Nigerian Professional Football League, and my heart goes to Sunshines, and I'm very happy for them. Coming to win after a long while, but they're still around the relegation zone. But let us not. Let me not be talking alone. For this at this time, let me introduce my guest. I think is a very special guest today. Malam says that my guest today is a handball player and also an administrator of handball. Sir, you're welcome to Capital Sports today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a long while we heard from the world of handball. I think football most times is football, but I think you'll be telling come to Capital Sports.
Thank you very much.
So how has handball been all this while?
Well, I think it's a privilege me being here, and at the same time, it's a privilege for the game of handball being advertised on the media. You see, handball, because handball were the earlier people who started each category games. Football took it over, and today they are doing well. The problem of handball stems from our lack of cohesion and synergy among ourselves, because when you have a leader and the succession cannot sustain what the former one is doing, there's bound to be fallout.
Okay, before we go into the problem handball and maybe the nitty-gritty of what you are about to tell us, but we just watch the sports tidbits before we what handball is concerned. We saw the Nigerian Professional Football League. I think our league is growing by the day. We can see a team going to defeat a home team. I think what's your assessment so far of our sports? Is it growing or we're stagnant?
Well, for the football, I would say on the local professional league, from the officiating now is having a change, and people are having a rethink about thinking that there should be liberality on what we watch from the international community. If you watch officiating level, football we enjoy being played, or sport we enjoy being played. If officiating is allowed to take the neutrality we all expect, but where we believe that biasness will take the order of the day. If I'm playing at home, I must secure that 3 points. Then we are not enjoying it. Just like having the game to say, okay, I bought over that point, and it is no more interesting. It's happening in sports cycle today. You don't know where I come from. I don't know where you come from, but we sit together, shouting, clapping, shaking hands, because we are happy to belong to a certain group of team, and that alone gives us joy. It reduces all the stresses we'll be putting ourselves. There is no, it negates this issue of ethnicity that say you are from this part and from that part. So sport is a unifying factor in the world. And frankly speaking, we must confess, the Nigerian Professional League is improving day by day. because officiate professionally.
Okay, in just 1 minute or two, let's just sum our sports tidbits. We saw the FCT Minister novelty match there. I think is a good one. To exercise body, to improve productivity, and also to show love to our own Honorable Minister of State here in the FCT.
Yes, I think, just as I said, sport is still a unifying factor,
Good.
where you can see a female allowed to play with a male. They were all laughing, status mind. And I think it shows that the upcoming youth are trying to tell them that through sport, we can unite ourselves. Through sport, we can be who we want to be in Nigeria. Through sport, the country or the world will be a better place to live.
Okay.
And I think that is the best area we human beings on earth today can live to appreciate what life is all about. God has ordained for every one of us. And sport is the only means of livelihood that I can see that I'm not alone. There are people around me chanting, being happy. But I can be in that enclave for the this way. People are rushing to watch this capital sport. Why? Because they want to hear story about sport and nothing more. That will encourage people to say, please go into sport and see what you benefit from it. And sport, just as we said, is the only unifying factor in the world.
Well, borrowing from the word of Malam Seidu here, inner joy, and I think that is what Capital Sports will always, give you week in, week out. Now, play around Juventus, not taking them to where they think they wanted to be in terms of winning the Champions League. But the same Ronaldo we see excellently, did well with Portugal yesterday, defeating Israel 4-0. Well, I wouldn't want us to waste much time on that. And we also saw, like I said, a couple of transfer stories. Now, I will want to open the lines, but before you start calling in, we'll give Malam Seidu more time to break it down, to us. Now, talking about handball. Why are we not talking about handball most often the way we talk about handball? Do you have an answer to that?
Yes, I think I'll give you a positive answer. Just as I earlier introduced in my earlier introductory statement. You see, handball in the past was competing with football. In the early days of General Shala Williams, we all know that handball was working pari passu football. Handball was the first game that introduced age category sport in Nigeria. And today, football has taken the age category and they are far better than any sporting federation in sustainability. When we say sustainability, what a leader has done after his tenure of office, are we sustaining it or are we building on it? We have that problem of this Nigeria factor of, I want to pull you down, what you have done is not good. And that is one of the major reasons why handball today is not growing positively from where our earlier leaders left it. And people who are leading handball today are leaving handball with biased mind. We all live the game by biased mind. We don't want to work in connection or in conjunctivity with one another. We feel that I am there, nobody should be there. You must take my instruction. We are more dictatorial than democratic. And when you have a sport that is having this tendency, my brother, consider that sport almost dead. And that is where handball is today. We have a new leadership who came on board. He started well. If you must get to know, in 2007, there was a sporting federation in Nigeria. I was a partaker of that election. Seeing the situation of handball in Nigeria, I voluntarily stepped down for the Just Dissolved Federation, the president of the Just Dissolved Federation. I stepped down for what reason? The game should grow. Because I can confess to say that I am one of the earliest under 12 handballer in this country. I started playing under 12 in 1979-80.
Wow.
And today, it will be an aberration for us to see handball where it is today, that we are living, but handball has not gotten to where it was. Today, football is far ahead of where we talk of handball. Basketball met handball, overtook handball. Basketball is better than handball today. We are still crawling. And I stepped down not for any other reason, but the game to peak. We work together, but The synergy was not there.
To further corroborate what you're saying, in the nation's capital, Abuja, I remember some of my classmates were representing this country, handball. At the time I was playing football. I wanted to change my mind because the rate at which those boys were playing good in a while, you see, pockets of competition. But in those days, I remember it used to be very vibrant. So how can we retrace, such steps to bring back handball to the luster days you're talking about?
Thank you very much. You see, it is very easy. The days where you're talking about the youth growing handballers were when school sports was given encouragement. This dichotomy of corruption, dichotomy of thinking of I. When we start, the federation election is coming up very soon. Tentatively, if the ministry didn't change the timetable, just as they are proposing, I think in September, I want to advise whoever is coming on board to remember that the best way to get handball is in region, playing table tennis, playing badminton, playing lawn tennis. That doesn't deter her religion, doesn't deter ethnicity. What matters is the inner joy you derive. And that inner joy is what sport is all about. Giving joy to those people who must have been angered somewhere, but you display some techniques that admires them and gives them that joy of saying, I want to watch so person. And like just you said, Cristiano Ronaldo, just as he's normally done, people know him to be a fantastic footballer in the world. Whether you say he's tired or he's retired, Cristiano Ronaldo will prove you wrong, that what you are saying is a wrong statement. And that is what beat Israel, but it is not the 4-0 that matters, but it is the technicalities and the exhibition of Cristiano Ronaldo in that field. People watching Portugal are watching Cristiano Ronaldo. They want to see what he is up to.
Okay, Madam Sedu, quickly, let us look at the issue of funding. Very important. Now, you as veteran, you provide advisory platform advising those at the helm of the administration talking about handball now. Now, how can you get funding? Because funding is very important. If you discover grassroots talents, how do you fund them? How do you mentor them to be able to harness them to the pool of maybe probably national handball players?
Thank you very much. I think by virtue of my position as you've read it, I am the chairman of Kogi State Handball, at the same time the executive director of Commonwealth Handball Nations. I don't operate even in Nigerians alone. We work within the Commonwealth Handball Nation to see how we can develop handball. If not for the pandemic, COVID-19, as I'm taking, Nigeria will have hosted a category Commonwealth Handball in Nigeria. When you talk of the funding, let me go back to the funding. You see, funding sports is not as difficult as people think. Well, it's a huge financial investment, but it depends on how you look at it. When you want to bring up an athlete, you don't look at the financial tendency. What are the basic requirements of playing handball? One, you need canvas shoe, you need a vest, and you need a ball. Do you mean that if a young lad comes to you as a worker in this organization and say, sir, please can you help us with one handball to be playing handball? We love handball. You will not hesitate to do that because you want them to be assembled. You will not hesitate to do that because you want them to be assembled. Now they meet the next person and say, sir, please, we don't have footwear, and this game needs footwear because it will injure our foot. Somebody will be willing to do that. And that is how you can come up with these lads and you build up. Like in the days when we started, when we were growing, in football, when we see any elite in our time, we meet them. Sir, we need jerseys. They buy jerseys for us. We'll be playing football with it. And when you say you are looking for a huge financial setting before you can develop handball, you are not willing and ready to take the game of handball to where you want it to
I
be.
must sincerely thank Malam Said Jibril, Chairman Kogi State Handball Association, Executive Director Commonwealth Handball Association, for finding time to be on Capital Sports today. But I know we've not exhausted all the issue, and we'll find time to return you back to the studio because our viewer out there is interested in what you're saying. Thank you very much for being a part of it. This is the much time would have permitted us to, get to hear from you today, but I know you have a lot to tell us. Thank you for your time. We've not been able to get on or two calls, probably to ask you some, important questions. But next week is the same time, same station. We will be coming back here, probably, if not with Malam Seidu, but we'll be bringing you the latest in the world of sports. I remain Abdullah Hiaji. On behalf of all those that have contributed, I must thank them sincerely for handling everything to a conclusive and happy end, because Malam Jibril is happy. He's a Chelsea fan, I realize. So I think he will keep smiling until we collect that cup from the hands of Chelsea. I know some other people are still happy, jubilating, celebrating Chelsea. Well, this is how it has been on Capital Sports. Join us same time, same station next week. I remain Abdullah Hiajia. Bye for now.